Who are you?
A painter who lives in West Cork, partially.
And what made you the painter from West Cork?
West Cork's a good place to live, and I think I've always been a painter since I was born, although I didn't know it till later on in life.
It is that well defined. You believe that it's something that nature provides, not something that's learned behavior.
Deep within me, I think it was always there. I remember as a child looking at graffiti images on walls when none of the other children were looking at them. So it must have been in me for me to recognize it.
There's an amazing energy, ordinary physical energy, to turn out the volume of work you have on display here today.
I don't have a social life, so I fill in my time making pictures or walking around or gardening.
Is there a relationship between the walking around and the gardening and the painting?
Completely, yes, completely. And cooking feels like the same thing.
Certainly one of your paintings, John, has been 20 years in the making.
It's true. That's true, yeah, 20 years, but not continually. It was around for 20 years and finally got finished.
It's more interesting that it's 20 years, not continually. To what extent does it reflect the moods of the artist over that period of time? Life changes, perhaps.
Yeah, one could speak about a hidden diary, though who could read the pages, I don't know.
Can you read the pages?
No.
Can you remember the chapters in the painting, so to speak?
Some of it, yes.
Motivation?
Situations and crises and ups and downs. Just that.
What motivates you today to do the work you do?
I forget myself. I get lost. It's like meditation. And to get away from oneself is wonderful. It's wonderful.
And you also bring so much of yourself to the canvas.
Then that's a spontaneous process. Spontaneity is wonderful, to be able to live spontaneously. I think the whole system we live under would destroy spontaneity in us.
That's why you're at the furthest end of Europe, maybe, down in West Cork. Search to recapture that.
To get away, yes. And now I wouldn't mind a flat in a very busy international city of some sort to counterbalance. One's always carrying oneself around. Yeah.
You have, we talked about the physical energy to turn out the volume of work, but you have an amazing creative energy. You don't fear the application of paint. You go for it in a big way.
I had fear enough a long time ago, but not now. I'm 67, you know. You have to get on with things.
Are you aware that some of the painterly techniques that you exhibit are so very similar to the techniques employed by the greats throughout art history? That striation, that heaviness of paint, that palette work.
No, not particularly. I sometimes recognize it in old masters or painters who've gone before. But that's bound to happen. It's paint on a surface. It can only go in so many directions.
You're a painter in the year 2003. You're using the same materials, or broadly the same materials as the great masters of the past might have done. You approach the same dilemmas on the canvas. You bring your own experiences. Do you sense that you're part of a continuum?
Yes. Yes, I could imagine Van Gogh saying to me, "That's really nice. I like the way you did that bit," and as I'd be saying the same thing to him. Just that.
Do you reckon they would have talked to each other in that very human way?
I like to think so. I'd certainly talk to them in that way, so possibly I'd get the same thing back. Yeah.
Great heroes from the past who have influenced you. Are there such?
Paul Klee's work I love. Georges Braque, especially the elderly Braque. The quiet solemnity, the majesty of those pictures. Braque and Picasso during the Cubist period. The cave painters. The graffiti I see all around the place. Barcelona before the Olympic Games, all the walls in the alleyways, which is like Tapier's pictures. In fact, I think it's where it probably got so much inspiration. I think the Vandals came along and cleaned the graffiti off for the Olympic Games. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. The heads, small paintings, small heads, where do they come from?
Well, a face is like a geography to attach one's love of paint to. To have a form makes painting easier. If it's formless, you can get lost in outer space and the whole thing can collapse into meaninglessness or just self-indulgence. But if you've got a landscape or a head, people's faces are so interesting, aren't they? All these people have come up from West Cork yesterday and the streets are full of people. Everyone, heads and heads.
Yeah. I've heard it said about some of your work that the painting actually creates a meditative space, that you can journey into it, that maybe journeying into outer space or wherever. Are you aware that you've created that, or did you seek to create that?
I've always said I'd like, if someone was ill in bed and they had one of my pictures on the wall, they'd have a good companion to help the days go by. And that a picture can be like a movie. Things are always moving and changing about. And also one can see one's own picture or movie in the painting. I don't like to tie anybody down to specific images. I like everyone to see what they will see.
It's a technique in itself.
Well, it's life really, isn't it? We all walk down the street and see different things.
So you garner these images, you corral them in a certain way, you imbue them with certain nuances.
It just goes in and comes out, and I'm hardly conscious of that. Yeah. But I think we all live our lives like that to a degree.